If you are got ethics inside you, you will do what is right. If you are not having ethics, obviously you will do what is wrong. So this is the basic idea of what is ethics. Assert own economic and financial interest in ways that are fair and equitable to self as well as clients. Whatever activities you are doing, whatever organization development you are doing, whatever diagnosis you are doing, evaluation you are doing, analysis you are doing, it should be done in an honest and fair manner. That is the meaning. Hello everyone, this is Purna Chandra, Faculty, Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, the Temple of Excellence. So we are dealing with the subject Organizational Behavior for 3rd Sem B.Ba as per NEP scheme, and today will be your second session in Unit 4. So the name of the unit is Organizational Development. So we will just see what we did in the previous class. So we understood the meaning as well as nature of OD. OD in the sense is organization development. Why there is a need for OD inside the organization. How you can tackle different problems that arise inside the organization with the help of OD. And also we also understood competencies of an OD practitioner. That is, what competitive skills an OD practitioner should exhibit or have. So these are the things which we understood in the previous class. So in today's class, what we'll be understanding is ethical guidelines for OD practitioner. That is, what ethics he has to follow in the process of organization development. What is wrong, what is right, he has to understand, and finally he has to select what is right and come out with the organization development process. And also we'll also be understanding the process of organization development. That is, there are several different steps in the process of organization development. So we will be understanding in detail. So let us start today's session. So first we are dealing with ethical guidelines for OD practitioner. So we will understand what is ethics. So before we understand what is the guidelines for OD practitioner, we will understand what is ethics. So the meaning of ethics. Ethics refers to issue or practices that should influence the decision-making process in terms of doing the right thing. That is, you understand what is right, you also come to know what is wrong. Now you want to do the right thing so that you create a good working environment inside the organization or whatever it is. Ethics means, in other words, you can also call ethics as moral values which a person exhibit or have. So, in other words, ethics reflects the morals of what is considered right or wrong. So, being a human being, being a grown-up, you come to know what is right and what is wrong. And if you are got ethics inside you, you will do what is right. If you are not having ethics, obviously you will do what is wrong. So this is the basic idea of what is ethics. So next, we will understand responsibility of OD practitioner. That is, OD practitioner is also a human being. So he will have certain ethical guidelines which he has to follow in the process of organization development. So OD practitioners ethical guidelines. So there are different things here. We will deal one by one. So the first is responsibility to self. An OD practitioner should have certain ethical responsibility to self. We will understand responsibility for professional development and competence. This second guideline. So we'll understand in the future slides. So next, responsibility to clients and significant others, responsibility to the profession, and social responsibility. So all these are the ethical guidelines which an OD practitioner should have. So we will deal one by one. So the first one is responsibility to self. How he can be ethically responsible to his self. So we will understand. Act with integrity, be authentic and true to self. That is, he should have some integrity, he should not lie or make false claims, and he should be authentic. That is, he should not speak a lie or impersonate himself as others, and he should also be true to himself. This is the first responsibility to self. Next, strive continuously for self-knowledge and personal growth. That is, he has to continuously work for gaining knowledge and personal growth, because learning is an everyday process. So you have to learn new things every day. Just because you're an OD practitioner, that doesn't mean you have to stop learning. So you have to improve your knowledge, and also you should lead to your personal growth by inculcating new skills or learning new skills. That is the meaning. Recognize personal needs and desires when they conflict with other responsibility. That is, he has to recognize what is his personal needs, and he also has to give prominence to the responsibility inside the organization. So both has to be given equal prominence. That is the meaning. Next one, assert own economic and financial interest in ways that are fair and equitable to self as well as clients. That is, whenever he is indulged in the transaction of money, he should see that there is no fraud or cheating. There should be benefit for him as well as the client who is involved in the financial transaction. That is the meaning. So these are the responsibility to self. So next, responsibility for professional development and competence. So we will understand this. So here, accept responsibility for the consequences of the acts. So any act the OD professional has done, he has to take responsibility for it. Whether it is leads to success or whether it is a failure, he himself has to be responsible for the act. That is the meaning. Strive to achieve and maintain a professional level of competence for both self and profession. So he has to be competent enough for both self as well as profession. So he has to have certain professional ethics which he has to showcase. So he should not do any sort of things that is beneficial for him and which is a negative point to the organization. Both has to be thought of. Next, practice within the limits of the competencies, culture and experience. That is, OD practitioner will be having his own boundary within which he can conduct the process of organization development. So he has to understand what is the limit within which he can operate. That is the meaning. Practice in different cultures. That is, he has to practice in different organization cultures. So organization means thousands of people come with different intentions, behavior and their unique features. So you will have to deal with different cultures. This is the second thing. Now we go for the third thing, that is responsibility to clients and significant others. First one, serve the long-term well-being, interest and development of the client. So here business means it is not only owners, members, shareholders, etc. There will be clients. So you should work in such a way that the long-term well-being, interest of the clients are met. That is the meaning. Second one, conduct professional activity, program or relationship in a honest way. That is, whatever activities you are doing, whatever organization development you are doing, whatever diagnosis you are doing, evaluation you are doing, analysis you are doing, it should be done in an honest and fair manner. That is the meaning. Next, establish mutual agreement on a contract covering services and remuneration. So whenever it comes to service and remuneration means salary, there has to be an agreement so that there is no conflicts in future. So whenever there is a mutual agreement, then conflicts regarding service and remuneration will not arise. That is the meaning. So next, avoid conflicts of interest as much as possible. That is, being an OD practitioner, you should eliminate or overcome conflicts that arise inside the organization as much as possible. That is the meaning. Define and protect the confidentiality of client-professional relationship. That is, there should be certain confidentiality maintained in certain matters. So because being an OD practitioner, you are having a client. So you have to safeguard certain secrecy inside the organization. So certain matters that are very confidential, the secrecy has to be maintained. That is also one more ethical guideline. So next we go for responsibility to the profession. So promote sharing of OD knowledge and skills. So being an OD practitioner, you are an experienced person with a lot of knowledge, capabilities, potential. So whatever knowledge you are having, you will have to share it with the other people and also improve their skills. That is the meaning. Next, work actively for ethical practice by individual and organization engaged in OD activities. That is, you have to actively work in such a way that the ethical practice and the organization engaged in OD activities are also doing the work in a fair manner. So you should be very cautious. You should work actively to ensure that the other members of the organization are also behaving or working in an ethical way. That is the meaning. Act in ways that bring credit to the OD profession. That is, you have to set a role model, you should become an example, and you should be a charismatic leader. So you should act in ways that brings credit to the profession, not a disrespect to the profession. That is the meaning. So next, social responsibility. Act with sensitivity to the fact that my recommendation and actions may alter the lives and well-being of people. Because you are an OD practitioner, certain decisions you take, certain plans you make will obviously alter the lives of people. So before you're making any rules or you're coming out with any decisions, you should keep in mind that life of different people in the organization are dependent on what decisions you're taking. That is the meaning. Act with awareness of all culture and respect different culture. That is, you should have the awareness of different culture that is inside the organization or different cultures in the country or across the globe, and you should respect the different culture and act in such a way that you have awareness of different culture and you are not humiliating or taunting any culture. That is the meaning. Next, promote justice and serve the well-being of all life on earth. That is, you should promote justice. You should not indulge in unfair practices or criminal activities or fraud. And you should serve justice and you should make sure there is a well-being of all life on earth. That is the meaning. And the next one is abide by all the rules or laws of the country. That is, in India there is a law, there is an Indian penal code with different sections. So you should abide by, that is, you should respect the law and follow the law of the land, and you become a very good OD practitioner. So these are the 5 general guidelines to OD practitioner. So next we go for process of organizational development. So here there are 7 steps in the process of organization development. We will understand. The first one, initial diagnosis of the problem. Second one, data collection. Then we go to data of feedback and confrontation. Planning strategy for change. Intervening in the system. Team building. Evaluation. So these are the different steps that is there in the process of organization development. So we will understand. First one is initial diagnosis of the problem. So for what purpose you are doing organization development is, you want to solve certain problem inside the organization. So to know what is the problem, you go for initial diagnosis of the problem. So we will understand this. In initial diagnosis, the management will try to find out an overall view of the situation to find the real problem. So he will investigate the situation to find the real problem, who is causing the problem or what is causing the problem. That is the meaning. Top management should meet the consultants and experts to determine the type of program that is needed. So the top management, he understands, he investigates what is the actual problem, and he meets consultants and experts and he gives the clarity regarding the problem to the consultants and experts, And here experts will give suggestion regarding what type of program that is required to deal with these problems. This is the meaning. So next, data collection. So here in this step, the consultant will make the service to determine the climate of the organization and behavioral problems of the employee. So here you want to know what is the actual problem. So you collect data. So you want to know what is the problem with the behavior of the employees. So you will collect certain data to analyze. Next, consultant will meet group of people away from their work environment regarding the following. So here the consultant wants to collect data. So what he does is he comes out with the following, that is, what specific job contribute most to their job effectiveness. So this question, regarding this question, data will be collected. Next, what kind of conditions interfere with their job effectiveness? Regarding this question also, data will be collected. And what changes would I like to make in the working of the organization? So the data will be collected pertaining to these three questions so that there is a clarity regarding the problem. So this is the meaning. So the data is collected by getting the answer to the above questions. So data can be collected in primary form or secondary form. So usually when it comes to OD, it is primary. You collect data directly from the employees, you give them certain questionnaire or interview them or speak to them and you get the data collected. This is the meaning. Next, date of feedback and confrontation. So the data collected in the second step will be given to the work groups. Now the data has been analyzed. They know what is the reason for people not working well. What is the reason why people are demotivated to work. Now all these data will be given to certain work groups. So work groups will be assigned the job of reviewing the data. So what work groups will do? They will review the data. That is, each and every aspect from different angles they analyze the data. That is what these work groups will do. Any areas of disagreement will be discussed among themselves and priority will be established for a change. So based on this, the work groups will discuss the problems, the details, what data has been collected regarding the problem, and they come out with solutions. So, and finally, priority will be established. So inside the work group, if there is any kind of disagreement regarding what solution to stick, then what happens? There should be understanding, there should be discussion among themselves, and finally one priority will be fixed to bring about a change. That is the meaning. So next, planning strategy for change. So in this step, consultant will suggest the strategy for change. Now after data collection and analysis, they know what is the strategy. After discussion among the work teams, they know what is the exact strategy that can solve the problem. So they will suggest this strategy. He will attempt to transform diagnosis of the problem into a proper action plan. Now the diagnosis is done. After diagnosis, you are done some analysis, then you come out with action plan or future course of action. So what here happens in this stage is there is an attempt that will be made to transform what diagnosis has been made of the problem into an action plan. This is what happens here. So next, the action plan includes overall goals for change, determination of basic approach for attaining goals, and sequence of detailed scheme for implementing the approach. So basically what happens, action plan means how you can deal with the problem, what is the future course of action. So what approach you are going to do to alter the behavior of people who are not motivated, how you can increase the productivity, and how you can implement the action plan. Everything will be sought out or understood or decided in this stage or in this step. So next, intervening in the system. So It refers to planned programmed activities during the course of an OD program. So here, you have done the diagnosis, you have got the action plan. Now what happens is you have to intervene inside the system so that you bring about a change. That is the meaning. Planned programs bring certain changes in the system. So planned programs are deliberately designed programs to deal with certain problems. So they will definitely bring changes in the system. So external consultant interviews in the system such as education and laboratory training, process consultation and team development. So here what happens, an external consultant, he interferes inside the organization, and what he does is he educates the employees to alter their behavior, and he gives them certain laboratory training. What is laboratory training? That is simulation training or a mock drills they conduct so that they work well. Then process consultation. Suppose certain worker is not having clarity regarding what process he is doing. So there is consultation to him so that they give him inputs or educate him regarding the process. And team development, that is very important. That is, there should be a feeling of unity inside the organization. Unity and diversity. So everyone has to work as a team inside the organization. That will also be decided. So this is intervening in the system. So next, team building. So during the entire process, the consultant encourages the groups to examine how they work together. So here the consultant will sit with the groups and he will give him certain directions, and he will teach them how to work together, how to work as a team, and he eliminates conflicts inside the team and he brings him harmony inside the team. So this is called team building. And he also overcomes different conflicts that is within the group, and he comes out with a quality team. The consultant will educate them about value of free communication. So free communication basically means freedom will be given to the employees to express their feelings, attitudes, or any ideas, opinions, etc. That is free communication. And trust as essential for group functioning. They also teach the people of the groups or members of the group to have trust on each other, trust inside the organization, so that they work as a group and they become successful in achieving their objectives or goals that has been given to them. Then managers and their subordinates are encouraged to work together as a team. So here what they are doing is there should not be any kind of individualism. They want cooperation between the managers and the subordinates. So what happens in this stage is both managers and subordinates are encouraged to work together as a team without any kind of hindrance or any kind of partiality or biased behavior. That is the meaning. So the last step is evaluation of the OD process. So here OD is a very large process and careful monitoring is required. It's a very large process. Careful monitoring is required to get precise feedback after OD program. So now OD program has been implemented. Now we want to know whether it is working out or not. So you evaluate the program. For evaluation of OD program, following are used. Use of critic sessions. So a lot of critic sessions will also be used to evaluate the OD program. Appraisal of change efforts. That is, there is a planned change that has been brought about in the organization. You appraise it. Appraise means you assess it, whether it is really working out or not. If it is working out, then OD program is a success. If it is not working out, then OD program that has been implemented is a failure. Comparison of pre and post training behavior patterns. So you compare the employee's behavior before the training and you compare it with the behavior after the training. So if there is a positive change in the behavior, that means OD program is a success. If there is a negative behavior and still the workers are demotivated, they are not interested to work, means it is a failure. This is the meaning. So these are the 7 steps that is there in the process of organizational development. So in the next session, we will be understanding what is entering and contracting, diagnosing organizational systems. Thank you.